So what do you want to know about Apple Pay?
Well, what was the main idea that started it?
I think we've been using credit and debit cards and cash for that matter for so many years. So credit and debit cards, a technology that's been developed, I think it was about 30, 40 years ago, with the same security associated with it, the same inconveniences associated with it. So we just thought there'd be a better way to do that. So I think that was, the number one kind of impetus was how can we create a more secure way and utilize obviously the devices that people have with them all the time, their iPhone, to make the process of purchasing things in stores and apps and on the web, much easier, much more convenient, more secure, and more private than what you have today.
And when you guys announced it, were you guys the first doing it, or did Google and Android already have it out?
Well, I mean, certainly we were the first ones to create Apple Pay. I think as with a lot of Apple products, we're not the first in many cases, as also I would say with Apple Pay to necessarily dive into new technology. There are places throughout the world actually, so for instance in Japan, where they've been using their phones to pay with a technology called Felica for a number of years. So I think we were the first people for sure to do it in the way that we did it, directly integrated into the device and so easy just holding it up to the terminal. And also the fact that when we launched it, it was both in apps and in stores, which was something that was new to the product. But I think if you're talking about like paying in the store using kind of a contactless device, we weren't the first people to do that.
Did you hear about the TED Talk guy who actually implanted a chip in his arm and put Apple Pay on it so you paid with his arm? Did you hear that?
I hadn't heard that, but I hope that doesn't go out of. I hope that stays. He has ways to software update that over the air.
Yeah. So do you guys have plans on upgrading it or no? Like, do you think you're going to leave it or actually make new stuff?
Yeah, we're constantly working on adding new features. So we launched it about 2.5, 3 years ago, and since that point we've done quite a bit already. In addition to just kind of making minor updates to it, improving the UI, improving kind of how it works.
Yeah.
We added, for instance, the ability to use rewards cards with Apple Pay.
Really?
Yeah, we added the ability to pay on the web using Apple Pay. That wasn't one of the original things, so now you can pay on the web. We added it to the MacBook Pro, which it wasn't originally on the MacBook Pro. So we've done a lot of, a lot of improvements. This fall, actually, we've already announced that we're going to have person-to-person payments with Apple Pay as well, so that you can pay other people right in iMessage using the cards that you have in wallets. So we're constantly, working on updating it and making it better and better as we develop the product over time. Yeah.
So do you guys work with any card at any store?
In the United States, we're on the vast majority of cards. We're not on all cards, but it's a very, very high percentage. So almost all cards, all the major banks, you can add your credit and debit cards to Apple Pay. And from a store perspective, the store has to have a special type of reader, so a contactless reader. It's an industry standard, so it's not an Apple specific thing. But as long as the store has that contactless reader, then Apple Pay will work at that. So by the end of this year, for example, half of the stores in the United States will be able to accept Apple Pay.
That's cool. Do you guys work with the Sicilian card with the American Express?
The Centurion card, the black card?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we do. Pretty sure. I know most American Express cards you can use. So I'm pretty sure that includes the Centurion card.
We're about to call Benjamin Wynn now.
Hi, my name is Benjamin Wynn. I'm a composer and electronic musician.
So what instruments do you use?
I use a lot of instruments, mostly software and computer based. I use I play piano and drums as well, but mostly it's all electronic instruments.
What shows or TV movies or TV like stuff like that have you been in?
With my old partner Jeremy Zuckerman, we did a show called Avatar: The Last Airbender, Kung Fu Panda, and Legend of Korra for Nickelodeon.
Something funny is earlier in our room we were playing your music. Isn't that funny?
Oh, nice. Which music?
Your one from Avatar.
Nice.
So yeah.
So is that the one that your counselors like?
Yeah. They
Cool.
like that music. Do you guys play in a band anymore, or did you guys stop?
So I have my own band called Dayru, which is electronic music.
And are you on Spotify or no?
Yeah, it's on Spotify and iTunes and everywhere.
How often do you produce an album?
Albums usually take me a year to make, and then it generally takes about another year to get the release ready. So about every 2 years, maybe a year and a half or 2 years.
Are you working on one right now?
Yeah, I just finished one. I finished an album like maybe 3 months ago, and I'm now working on the release for it. I want to do a short film, and we're going to do some sculptural objects and create a new live show. So this one will probably take me another year from when I finished it, so it'll probably come out early next year, 2018.
And do you think you're going to be playing it live at like in different cities and stuff, or just an album?
Yeah, exactly. Me and a collaborator of mine, Anthony Chanamea, we're going to develop a live show for it that will tour around the various cities in America and Europe.
What equipment do you use?
Yeah. So, I use a lot of different equipment. At its core, mostly it's a computer, an Apple computer, and a whole bunch of software. And the software can either be, the main software, which is called a DAW, which is where you lay out the songs in sort of a linear way, and you can work to picture that way, and you can sync it up perfectly. But then there's also software that are synthesizers that create sound, or software to manipulate sound that you've recorded. And then sort of to control the software are a lot of different controllers. Some look just like pianos that are digital. They don't make sound, but they control the software. And then there's also sliders and knobs, and then there's like combinations of things in between that look like keyboards, but there's this one called the Rolly that looks like a keyboard, but it's soft so that you can note, and the harder you press it, you can control various parameters like loudness or brightness and stuff like that. And then I have piano, and I have drums, and I have all kinds of acoustic instruments, and I have analog synthesizers as well.
What's your favorite job you've ever done, or job you worked on?
Oh, that's a good question. I think in a lot of the original Avatar: The Last Airbender was pretty special. It was the first time either Jeremy and I had worked on television. We were very young, and it's really a great show. It has an amazing story. It has a lot of heart, and the creators were our friends, so it was just a great experience.